Okay, we are back for another episode of the Park City Real Estate Podcast. I'm joined by Brian with Park City Rental Properties. And I'm not going to lie, if we wouldn't have had a cancellation, because I wanted, this is maybe one of the whole reasons why I started the podcast, because you guys have great insights as far as everything related to property values, rentals, and all of that.
Yeah, it's a big part of what we do at Park City Vacation Rentals. We want to stay on top of what the market looks like, and there's a correlation between what the real estate market looks like and the rental market. They very much go hand in hand. So if we're not staying on top of both aspects of that, we're not doing our job right. We're not maximizing the overall revenue for our homeowners. We're giving poor projections, and ultimately, for a lot of our homeowners paying for these homes, they have to do so through their rentals. So making sure we can give a proper analysis for each of the homes is a big component to what we do.
And you guys are my go-to if I'm ever needing an analysis for someone looking to buy or sell. What are their projections for rentals? So
Sure, yeah, we do something called a rental performance analysis. So we take an entire analysis of the home and we look for comparable homes to those that we have in our inventory and also in the market. We want to find kind of that medium rate and see where we're at that time, and then we can give an accurate projection to the homeowner based on the trends we're seeing for upcoming seasons and for over the next couple of years. So there's a lot of science that goes into it. 15, 20 years ago, people just threw out numbers and rolled with it, when before the vacation rental industry was very big. But at this point, there's so much science into it. There's a lot of math and a lot of numbers that are involved in this, that we can get very accurate projections for our homeowners so they know exactly what their expectation is.
Yeah, you guys are pretty meticulous when you give those projections too.
We are, and yeah. I mean, sometimes the difference between $3,000 may not seem like a lot, but the difference to us, that's quite a bit for some people at the end of the day, into whether or not they're netting that $3,000. Can they cover their costs for their new home if they're trying to pay for that through the rental market? So we want to make sure we're as accurate as possible, and we can give them an extremely accurate projection going forward so they can budget on their end as well. There's a lot of moving parts in this. From the real estate agent to the homeowner to us to the guests, there's just a lot of moving parts there. We want to make sure everything is as accurate as possible.
Well, and so just backtracking a little bit, I called you guys Park City Rental Properties.
We are Park City Rental Properties.
Okay.
We are also Park City Vacation Rentals.
Okay.
We are I Love Vacations. We are a lot of different
Well,
things.
yeah, I think you guys have 500 plus domains, right?
We do, yeah. I actually think it's over 1,000 at this point right now.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
The CEO of our company, Jim Bisley, when he started doing this, he was a tech guy, had a lot of a background doing that, and he bought all these domains. He just bought everything you could possibly think of. We even have Park City Hotels, even though we don't operate any hotels. So it's all about driving traffic. If you're if you're familiar with SEO, it's search engine optimization online, it's all about driving traffic to our websites. And that's why we have all these domains where everything you search for is going to drive that traffic directly to our website. And hopefully we can pick up that guest as a guest for us and a future guest going forward.
Yeah, and so I guess I figured that was the case, right? Because you go by a few different names, and then apparently you've got 1,000 plus domains that help that optimization and drive that traffic to your websites, to your properties that you manage.
Correct. And we have over 300 properties in the Park City area, anywhere from studios all the way up to, I think our largest home is a 9-bedroom home in the Colony. So we're all over the place in terms of the type of homes that we have and the type of clientele that we work with, both from an owner perspective and from a guest perspective. So there's a lot of variation in what we do, and that's what makes pricing these homes on a day-to-day basis difficult at times, and that there is so much variation. And maybe you're working with a studio that's 600 square feet, or you're working with a home that's 20,000 square feet. So there can be a lot of variation in terms of what we do. But we're willing to and always looking to work with any type of guest, any type of homeowner, regardless of the size of their home.
Yeah, so you've got the spectrum, you've got the studios, you've got the 9 bedrooms, you've got everything in between, from the uber luxury to sounds like just kind of your run of the mill nightly rental studio. So I guess, do you guys have anywhere that you specifically focus on in Park City that you specialize in? I
mean, no, we're anywhere from out to Jeremy Ranch, which we just signed our first home over in Jeremy Ranch a couple of months ago, where there's a small community in Jeremy Ranch that now allows nightly rentals, all the way up through Empire Pass. So, I mean, you're going from the Montage out to Jeremy Ranch, that's almost 30-minute drive at that point. So we're pretty wide and diverse in what we have. We have a ton of homes in the Blackstone area, out at the Canyons. We have a lot of homes up in the Lookout area. I think we have about 70% of the total homes up there in our rental property market. But we don't specialize in one specific area. we're willing to work in any area within Park City. We even go out towards the Jordanelle as well. So everything out in the Black Rock area. We've probably got 15 to 20 homes in Black Rock and Jordanelle as well. So if you can rent it, we'll find a way to get it booked up as much as possible.
Well, it sounds like you guys have the resources to be able to manage those properties effectively and
we do,
to the
and
owner's expectations.
We do, and I'm sure everyone's seen our trucks driving around town all the time. We've got our logos all over them. I think we have about 12 of those trucks at that point. That's our maintenance team going home to home, prepping all those things. We have our housekeeping team as well. And then our office on Main Street is a 25-person office just on Main Street itself. So we have a very large team, a full sales team, a guest service concierge team. We have departments for each, for marketing and for our owners to work with directly. So a lot of different areas where our homeowners and our guests can get served the service that they need, depending on what they're looking for.
And so we're gonna, in a second here, we're gonna dive into some numbers that I think people are gonna find very, very fascinating. But while we're on the subject of how you service your owners and how you take care of them, what's like the best way for someone to get a hold of you guys, to find out about your rates, your just management offerings and all of that?
I mean, the best thing to do is go to our website at parkcityvacationrentals.com. So you can take a look right there. It's got all of our information, Park City rental properties. Just search online for us. You can give us a call, 435-571-0024. We're in the office from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. We have an after hours department as well. So we can get somebody in touch with you almost within 24 hours. If you're looking to rent your home out, Jim Anderson's the head of our marketing team and business development. He'll give you a call, go through the entire process, provide you with a rental performance analysis to know exactly what rental projections you can have. And if you're a guest looking to stay with us as well, give us a call at any time. We're happy to book you. You can always book something online. We have all of our homes listed online. You can on our website there. You can see exactly what your pricing is. But we're happy to walk you through the entire process of what we can offer, because every home and every single homeowner has its own personality. And we have to customize exactly what we're doing for that home and that homeowner. So we want to make sure we're all on the same page, because it's very much a partnership. I mean, at the end of the day, if we're generating money for them, we're generating money for ourselves. It allows the company to grow and allows the homeowner to put more in their pockets. So we always look at these things very much as a partnership, and we have to customize that relationship for every single homeowner.
Well, and I think that's why you guys are such a great asset for us real estate agents in the area, is because you guys really help us do our jobs better by when we have someone who's looking to buy or sell. You guys really help us to cater whatever the questions are and answer those questions based on the needs of the buyer or the seller. So,
sure, and then there's a lot of different questions that homeowners come with, and we get asked a new question every single week. Something that we're like, hey, we've never heard that one before. How do we answer this? And as I mentioned, Jim Anderson, the head of our business development team, and I, we powwow constantly. We're like, hey, here's this home, here's the question. What's the best way to respond to this? What's your thought process in terms of how we're getting to this number for this homeowner from a projection perspective? What can we do with this homeowner who maybe only wants to rent their home out for 6 months of the year, or only for 4 months, or maybe only 2 months? Does it make sense for us? Does it make sense for the homeowner? And how can we guide that homeowner? Not every home is going to be a great fit for us. We're going to look at it and look at what the homeowner's needs are and our needs, and we're going to say, hey, you know what, maybe this isn't the best fit for it. And we're going to provide them the information with somebody else that may be able to provide a great fit for them in managing that home as well.
Okay, that's a fantastic resource as well. Okay, well, with that, I want to get into some numbers with you.
Sure.
You got the papers that you're carrying.
Got it.
And so with 300 plus homes under management, across the spectrum from Empire Pass, Deer Valley, to out to Jeremy Ranch, some out in the Jordanelle hideout and all that. So you've got some great data to work with, and some really cool insights. And I think you gave a presentation on these numbers the other day.
We did.
So if you just want to give us kind of an overview of this presentation, what the numbers mean, what you think that means for our upcoming season, and,
Sure.
and what the previous seasons look like.
So a big part of what we do is we always want to look back. How did we perform over a certain period? And it helps us project going forward. What trends are we seeing in the rental market? How far out are people booking? Where are people booking from? Those sorts of things. But as we look back at this past summer, and I don't know how long you've been here. I've been here 17 years. And this community has grown dramatically during the summer portions. Used to be nobody here in the summer. Now, try to get a tee time over at Park City Golf Course. I mean, even in the middle of the week at 2 p.m., it's really hard to do.
The secret's out.
The secret is out. This is no longer the hidden gym. It's still a gym, but it's no longer a hidden gym.
Yeah.
So we look at kind of our summer growth year to year, and every single year that I've been with the company, and I would assume beyond that, we're setting records for occupancy level within the community with our homes. So when we judge occupancy based on it's called adjusted paid occupancy, where you take the total number of days over a period, you remove the number of days that the homeowner's staying in there, because obviously we can't rent those nights. Homeowners are going to come use their homes at times. But adjusted paid occupancy is up 9% from this summer compared to last summer. And last summer was over 20% compared to the summer before. Wow. So as terrible as it may sound, the COVID-19 pandemic has been very advantageous for people in this industry. People are not staying in hotels because you have common areas that they're in. So we're seeing a lot more people have their vacations where they're staying in vacation rentals as opposed to hotels. And combined with that, not only do we have a 9% increase in occupancy, but the average daily rate of our homes was up 39% over the previous year. So, I mean, a home that was
so from 2020 to
2021, just for the summer period, 39% on average.
Wow.
So it's a huge increase. I mean, if you have a 5-bedroom home up in the Lookout area in Deer Valley, that's going to go for $25,000 a month right now during the summer period. If you've got a 3-bedroom home over at the Blackstone area, that's going to go for 8, 10, 12. I mean, depending on the layout and the furnishings in the home, we can get as much as $14,000 a month during the July period. So whereas 2 years ago, those same homes were going for $12,000 up at Lookout, $13,000 a month, and Blackstone was going for maybe $45,000 to $5,000 a month. So we're seeing huge increases in what people are willing to pay. This is a place people want to go and visit. If they're not going to buy a home here, they're like, well, and they have money to spend, they're going to come out and spend it here, and the price doesn't seem to be much of an issue for a lot of the guests that come out here. So I understand it's pricing a lot of locals out of the market as a whole, but you know, at the end of the day, our job is to have year-over-year growth with our vacation rentals, and that's what we're getting, huge year-over-year growth, and we expect this to continue. We've already forecasted out for summer of next year, and our Lookout homes that we're going for nearly $20,000 a month this year will go for $25,000 plus next summer. Our Blackstone homes that we're going for $10,000 this year will go for $13,000 to $14,000 next summer. So it's huge increases just based on that demand. Everyone wants to come here. The weather's great in the summer. It doesn't seem to rain here anymore like it used to in the summer. So people love that aspect of it. And this
plenty
is a place
of golf days, right?
Plenty of golf days. This is where people want to be.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, I had no idea the percentages were that high. I knew they were high, and so just year over year, that's astronomical and insane and crazy. And I'm sure there are a lot of people that aren't happy about that.
Yeah, I'm sure some people are unhappy about it. The people who sold their homes 2 years ago, I mean, we've seen home prices increase dramatically, and we'll get into those in a minute. But even for the fall period, we haven't had the same numbers we had last year during the fall. A lot of people, mostly from California, wanted to come out here for 30, 60, 90 days, or even come out for 6 months, stay the whole winter. The kids were doing school remotely in California. A lot of people were working remotely for the first times in their lives. They were able to travel a little bit and find a new place to live during this time frame. We also had a lot of fires in California last fall that sent a lot of people this way. So our fall numbers this year are actually down 38% for our adjusted occupancy. Whereas last year they were up over 100, or there was more than 100% increase in overall occupancy from the year before. So 2019 to 2020, our occupancy was more than doubled compared to the previous year.
But
this
2019 to 2021, it's still up, sounds like.
Oh, yeah, it's absolutely still up. Yeah, we're still trending in the right direction, is where we want to be. We're getting to a little bit of a more traditional, what we think will be more of a traditional booking window in terms of how far out people are booking and occupancy levels that we can anticipate going forward. But it has dropped this fall compared to last fall due to a couple different factors, but well above where we were 2 years ago.
Okay, yeah, and that makes sense. That context is important because 2020 was just an anomaly.
We use 2020 as a little bit of a gauge, but we try to go back and use 2019. It helps a little better because it's the numbers are more real. 'Cause we had, what, a 3-month period where people just didn't leave their houses. And from mid-March, April, May, nobody was traveling for 2.5 months
it
last
was
year.
dead
And then we got to
everywhere.
June, and everyone said, okay, we can travel a little bit, we can get out of here, let's go to the place we want to be. And Park City was that place for so many people.
Right, right. So important note, it is still up from 2019, which was more of a
Yes, sir.
normal,
Significantly.
normal market. And then how does it look? I guess because you want to talk a little bit about, because we've had some crazy appreciation in home values too. And I guess your rental rates are reflecting that as well.
They are, and they're not directly in line, but obviously they're going to correlate. When we look at home pricing for the last couple of years, between 2019 and 2020, it was a 26% increase year over year. That was in Park City proper. And from 2020 to 2021, an additional 21%. So that's a huge increase over the course of 2 years. If you extend it out beyond Park City proper and you get into Snyderville, 16% increase from 2019 to 2020, and then an additional 12% from 2020 to 2021. So kind of balanced out everything of 20% for the entire area from 2019 to 2020, and 18% from 2020 to 2021 in increase. And as I'm sure you can tell everyone, I mean, those are not typical numbers. That is not what you're typically going to see year over year in a market. This is pandemic related, and people finding an area that they want to live the rest of their lives in.
Yeah, people's lifestyles, their expectations for their work habits and vacation habits and all that has shifted dramatically,
Right.
and we are seeing that.
But if we look at the rates that we had, the nightly rates from 2019 to 2020, they actually went down from 2019 to 2020, partly because nobody knew what 2020 was going to bring once COVID hit. What we did on our end is we slashed our rates. We said we are desperate to get anybody here. And so a lot of people got great deals early in the summer last year. Once we saw the demand, once we saw those things increase, we raised those rates. Another component to it is a lot of people aren't booking as far into the future as they were previously. People want to make sure they're healthy before they travel, before they get on a plane. Whether they're vaccinated or not, people want to make sure the entire family is healthy at that point. So the booking window has definitely shrunk, whereas generally during the winter, you're looking at maybe a 60 to 120 day booking window on average for a home. It's closer to 30 to about 70 days currently for the winter, where people just wonder, all right, we're a little more comfortable with what the conditions are, we're a little more comfortable with what the COVID levels are, we're gonna go ahead and book our reservation now, even though it's a lot closer than we normally are. And like anything in, I guess any industry, the closer you get for the most part, you're gonna discount your rates to get a little bit closer. So that was the case last year. We were discounting our rates as we got closer and closer to each date to maximize our overall rentals there. So rates were down. But as we flipped into 2021, our average daily rate is up 29% over where it was last year. So a home that was going for $1,000 before per night is now going for $1,290 per night. So that's a pretty significant increase on average on a nightly rate. So things are trending in the right direction in the way that we want them to trend, with rates increasing. Well, I don't anticipate 29% increase from this year to next year. I think it will be somewhere between 15 and 16% on average is my guess at this point.
Okay. And so just to get an idea on how you guys come up with your rates and the booking times and all that. So do you analyze other markets too to kind of compare with what we have going here, or is it mostly just?
This is a unique market. Every
Yeah.
market is very, very much unique. Doesn't mean we don't look at what other markets are doing and what trends we're having. Usually those trends we're looking for are how far out people are booking, what overall occupancy looks like in those markets for certain times. As we saw, I mean, August was significantly down in across the country. I think it was down like 39% in terms of air travel compared to July. And then there was an additional like 20% from August to September as well for air travel.
And these are just general national or
These are
nationwide trends?
Yep, these are nationwide travel trends. So at this point, and we've seen a little bit of a pullback compared to our peaks at this point, people that wanted to travel coming out of the pandemic, who had not traveled in more than a year, they've traveled at this point. They've most likely already done their travel.
Yeah.
So now we're back to the people who are traveling for a second, third, fourth time, or people who are consistently traveling at this point. So everyone that was cooped up for a year, they've done that travel. A lot of people have gone back to work in offices. All the kids have gone back to school in person. So the families aren't traveling at that level at this point. So that's one of the things that we are seeing. But in terms of determining our rates, it's a combination of about 95% analytics and 5% experience. just knowing what the market's going to bring, knowing what we're going to see day to day, knowing what we're going to see season to season. But we purchased a lot of software that lets us know exactly where our home should be pricing wise at what times. And for our company specifically, we like to be a little bit over market rate, mainly because we know the level of service we're going to provide for the guest. So we like to see what that average market rate is for each individual time frame, for each individual type of home, and be a little bit over that market rate. So we have a little bit of a cushion to both negotiate our rates with the guest, discount as we get closer, and then ideally, a guest is booking at a full rate, and we're able to provide that high level of service they're going to come to expect from a local, reputable property manager.
Yeah, and you guys are kind of the whole service when it comes to people who stay in your properties. So,
Yeah, our thought process is,
yeah.
I mean, when guests ask something and they need something done, we take care of every aspect of the guest stay before they arrive, if they'd like. And whether it's ski rentals, transportation, car rentals, grocery delivery, babysitting service. Our thought process is that if you can think of it, as long as it's legal, we'll find a way to get it done.
Good.
So anything that's legal and within the bounds of
Clarification,
legality, we'll find a way to get it done. And we get some pretty obscure requests sometimes, but our guests are paying a premium to stay in our homes.
Yeah.
We want to make sure they're well taken care of.
Well, and that works out well for your guests as well as your the owners that you represent.
It
So,
does, and our homeowners very much have that same opportunity to use those services as well. But the most important thing for a homeowner is getting repeat clientele. You get the same guests that come in there, they take better care of the home. They know exactly what the home is. They treat it more like their own home. So if a guest has a great experience in a home, they're going to want to come back and stay in that exact same home. That's the ideal scenario for us, for the homeowner, and for the guest.
That's can I ask how if since you brought it
Sure.
up, like repeat guests, do you guys have that figured out, like how
Sure.
frequently?
In right now, we're still figuring out 2021 because there
Yeah.
are so many new travelers in 2021.
That's so
People
true.
who have never, not only never traveled, but have never
my
stayed
goodness.
in vacation rentals before. People-
Yeah.
So it's a brand new experience for them. So we're hoping to see a lot more of that. Yes,
Yeah.
we do get a lot of repeat guests.
Yeah.
A lot of those tend to be people who stay for 30 plus days during the summer period, or people who are staying during the winter period coming out to ski. So our repeat guest level for the winter period is around 40% annually. During the summer period, it's about 30%. We'll see what it looks like next year because we had a whole branch of new people that
So
came
many
in.
people I talk to, just on the street, sitting gallery, all
Right.
that. They're like, oh yeah, I'm here for the first time.
first time.
It's crazy.
Never been here before. Yeah, we just
Yeah.
say no. We're working remotely. We just jumped in the van and drove through for 5 days. We can just need a quick place to stay. So we hear that story a lot when people just want to come through, and it's a mix. I mean, whether it's people with a low budget, just looking for a studio for 2 or 3 nights, or people that want to come for a month and stay in a 10,000 square foot home and spend tens of thousands of dollars to do it. There's a wide variety of people that have never done this before and have never been to Park City, and we're capitalizing on that, and our homeowners are as well, and we're padding those wallets for them.
Well, and hopefully we can put a couple links so if anybody hears this, coming here for the first time, they can, obviously get in touch with you guys in that sense. But I guess, so we've talked a little bit about, we've covered a whole lot of ground here. I know you maybe got a few more numbers you want to dive into, but how are we looking as far as bookings for the upcoming winter season compared to maybe 2020 and 2019?
Sure. So we'll go back just to 2020 compared to last year, and I like to do everything to year to date. So what is today? October 6th, 7th? One of those? 6th?
Yeah, one of those, maybe 6th.
Somewhere in there, the 6th. So our adjusted paid occupancy compared to last year at this exact same time for the winter period, which we consider the day. There's the Saturday after Thanksgiving, so that Sunday we consider the first day of the winter period. We're up 53% compared to last year. 53% in adjusted paid occupancy.
I was expecting it just based on the numbers you were saying earlier.
53%
that people are
increase.
waiting to book and all that.
We're still, last year, we were struggling at this time last year for the winter. We didn't have a ton of bookings.
There was still a lot of uncertainty.
Exactly.
The vaccinations were now.
And around
that
this
makes
time
sense.
last year was when we
Yeah.
had that second wave of COVID that hit a lot of people and the numbers increased.
Right.
But we look at our average daily rate as well, and our average daily rate is actually up 80% compared to last year. Huge increases. Now, that may be a little skewed. And the reason for that is last year we had a lot of people that stayed for 30 plus days. And if anyone stays for 30 plus days, they're generally reserving the home well in advance. And we're also going to negotiate that rate with them. So full rate for a home, let's say is $50,000 for a month, we'll maybe negotiate that down to maybe $30,000 or $35,000 for that month. So we'll negotiate those rates. So it helps skew the average daily rate a little bit.
Okay.
But we're definitely have an increase.
Yeah.
Also, the larger homes tend to book first. The bigger the home, if it's ski in, ski out, it's going to go in advance. Those are the homes that always book well in advance. Whereas the smaller homes, anything 3 bedrooms and smaller, maybe doesn't have ski in, ski out, or isn't close to
So
lift.
it's skewed a little bit.
Those tend to
Gotcha.
book a little bit later. So
Okay.
these numbers are a little bit skewed. I want
Okay.
to be
That's
fully
okay. Yeah.
transparent in those. But if I go back and I look
Yeah.
at the numbers from 2 years ago and where we were, I mean, we're still trending in that right direction where we're actually, our adjusted paid occupancy is actually up 64% compared to 2 years ago, whereas the average daily rate is up only 27% compared to 2 years ago for the winter period. But that's still a lot of growth over the course of 2 years.
Yeah, that's pretty significant, I think.
It's
Yeah.
huge. And at the
Yeah.
end of the day, what we're looking for is a combination of that adjusted paid occupancy and that average daily rate and kind of mixing that all together. And then we know exactly what our targets are, what we're looking for. And that helps us price our homes accordingly based on the demand.
Well, and that's helpful, I guess, from from a real estate perspective too, because it's really encouraging to know that people are booking, that people are willing to pay to come to our town, and so that's really great info
Yeah.
for us.
It's funny too because we hear people that are like, "Oh, this town's crowded. There's too many people here
Yeah.
now." I'm just like, I don't know. You're selling your home for 3 times what you bought it 4 or 5 years ago, so it's hard for me to
There's always
to
a
listen
bit
to your
of a-
complaint.
it's a bit of a mixed bag.
Mixed bag.
Yeah,
It's that give
yeah.
and take sort of thing.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
but for your industry, for my industry,
Yeah.
I mean the prices just continue to go up, and again they're very much in line and very correlated as to when one goes up, the other is going to follow.
Yeah, we're kind of the beneficiaries. You've been here 7
Absolutely.
years. I've been here, 5 or 6. I can't remember exactly, but we're the beneficiaries of just all this, great infrastructure,
Sure.
great trail system, all the things that Park
Absolutely.
City offers.
And
so.
it's, I mean, and as you can say, we work hand in hand with you guys. Without you
Yeah.
guys, we don't have clients. And your clients are always looking for the right place to go and
Yeah.
the right property manager to work with. So we're very thankful for everything you guys send our way. All the property managers that are in town are very thankful that you guys do your due diligence and make sure they know exactly what those expectations are when they get into the rental market. So
Well, you guys came in for me clutch or your after hours even,
there you
go. so yeah, very, very reliable, very reliable company. So unless you have something else that you think would be good for the listeners to know about, I think.
I mean, at the end of the day, we've seen a lot of growth. We've seen
Yeah.
a lot of growth in the market, and at this point, if you want to if you've got a 3-bedroom home in Park City, it's gonna do a gross of $100,000 if you don't use your home at all. It will do a gross of $100,000 every single year using the models that we have, and that's a lot of money. That's going to oftentimes cover your mortgage, cover your HOA dues, cover your property taxes. Take a free home at the end of the year over the course by just letting people rent it out over the course of the year. You can have your appreciation on top of that as well. So it's now, as you've seen, now's the time to strike. Get in while you can, because I don't see this slowing down anytime soon. Whether it's rental rates, whether it's real estate, I'm sure we're going to have minor pullbacks here and there. But based on the demand we're seeing, things are just going to continue to go through the roof. And if people want to come and stay here, ultimately they want to come and live here. And that's what we're seeing. We talk to guest after guest after guest says, hey, I'm coming out for a week. I'm looking for a place to buy, or I'm looking for a plot of land to build on. Mm-hmm. Where can I rent? Or even where do you suggest we look?
No, that's a key question, right? Because a lot of times people are already looking to buy when they're coming, or they've been here a few times before, but they're maybe not 100% sure where they want to buy. Sure. So to have you guys answer those questions as well. Well, what exactly are you looking for? Do you want the ski in, ski out amenity? Do you want more of a golf amenity? Do you want club amenities? All of that. You guys take care of all that.
Yeah,
too.
and as someone that's been here 17 years, I've lived all over this town. I've lived on Park Avenue. I've lived in Thames Canyon. I've lived in Silver Springs. I live in Pine Brook currently. So I know these areas. I've been in them. I can tell you exactly what each community brings. So if a homeowner has those questions and then they say, hey, what does it bring from this perspective, or what does it bring from a rental perspective? I know it. I understand what it looks like. I understand what the school system looks like. I have an 11-year-old that goes to Ecker Hill Middle School. We have guests, especially last year, that wanted to talk to someone about the school system. It happened on a daily basis last fall. We're interested in moving out there. What's the school system like? Well, let me put you on the phone with the guy whose daughter goes to school here.
Yeah.
And that was me.
Yeah.
So we're very much a local company here. Everyone, obviously with our office on Main Street, everyone lives local. And we're just excited to take care of the guests that want to come here and experience what Park City has to offer.
Awesome. Well, we have run out of time. I wanted to get a little bit more about you and your background. You just kind of breezed over it a little bit. You know a lot about the local areas, local school district, and tell us a little bit about your polo. What do you?
This is my Dodgers polo. The
Yeah.
playoffs begin tonight. I know this won't come out for a little bit, but on the day we're shooting this, the baseball playoffs start tonight. I'm a large Dodger fan. I'm originally from Los Angeles area, but been out here 17 years. And hopefully my Dodgers can repeat a little bit. So big sports fan. I do like my sports. I play a lot of golf.
You were a sportscaster in the day.
I was
then?
back in my younger days with ESPN,
Yeah.
but now I've transitioned to a career that is a little more balanced for me. So I get to play a little more golf and spend more time with my kid. So those are the important things to me.
Awesome. Well, Brian, thanks so much for your time.
Of
Appreciate
course.
it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you did.